As we come to the unit, to the end of this unit of study, our introduction to metaphysics, I wanted to highlight how pervasive these ideas are in our world and how you can apply these understandings to your day-to-day life. I want to look at two areas. The first area is science. Scientists are, theoretical science at least, are actually metaphysicians. They're just using scientific method to validate their theories. They're constantly making claims about theories of reality. I mentioned in while the presentation, the idea of atoms come from the philosophers, all right? Their claims about the black hole, dark matter, dark energy, all these claims about ultimate reality are claims. And then they try to validate it through the experimental method. Um, their claims about string theory. String theory is nothing but metaphysics, claims, mathematical claims about metaphysics. And guess what? There's no scientific data to validate that theory. Just the numbers look like it should, but it have not been validated. Um, Quantum mechanics, another mathematical construct, is all metaphysics. So when you look at science theoretically, they are engaging in metaphysics. It's, if you apply this understanding here, you will go very far in making sense of what science is saying. You may not know all the formula, but you know the direction. You know the direction, right? And when they run the problems, generally, a lot of time, these are problems that's already highlighted within philosophy itself. The next area and the fun area are movies. What is a movie? A movie is a metaphysical construct. You create a possible world for the purpose of entertainment, enjoyment, and the conveyance of information to enlighten people, to give them better knowledge of something. That's a movie, okay? A movie is a possible world. It's a cosmological construct, okay? You create a world. In the background is light and images when you're in the theater looking at the movie. However, if they construct it right, you believe there's a man on the bridge. You believe the man's about to jump off that bridge and fall in the water and die. And when they do it right, you feel your feelings are probed, and so you begin to believe the reality on you as being real. So you accept in the movie that ontologically there's a real river, there's a real man in front of you, and he's about to commit suicide. So when you create a movie, you're creating a metaphysical construct, and you create a possible world in the background. Monism, pluralism, and dualism all apply in those worlds. You can create a movie about magic. Okay, when you go there, you may not believe in magic in the real world, okay, which is the power of the mind controlling things, all right. But you in the theater, you accept it because ontologically they can create a world in which certain people with certain mental abilities can move chairs and move cars and things like that. And you go for the logical presentation. This person has the power, what they're going to do with it. Then you look at the ethical dynamics of it. When you walk out of the theater, you don't expect to see anyone with magical powers because you don't believe in that. But you enjoy those movies. You enjoy those magical movies. You enjoy those superhero movies. You don't believe people go flying through the air in real life. But when you go to the theater, you love it if they do it right. All movies are metaphysical construct. When I go look at movies, I look at it metaphysically. I look at the ontological claims and see how they work and how to put the pieces together. When you begin to see that, you'll enjoy movies more. You'll enjoy movies more. So every day, you should be able to see the world through the metaphysical claim, all right? The idea is that when you see something, you see a Mercedes on the street. This is a third way to apply. You see a Mercedes parked there, but it appears to be a Mercedes. You heard that. It appears to be a Mercedes. You see the emblem there. You get closer, you see more emblems, but how do you know it's a real Mercedes? Cosmologically, it appears to be a Mercedes. Ontologically, how do you know? Do you know the blueprint that the manufacturer used to produce that car? Do you know sometimes Mercedes are just knockoffs? You know some people steal the emblem and put on other cars that are not Mercedes? So how do you know? How do you know? When you try to identify things in reality, in your world, in our world, you become metaphysical automatically, but you don't think about it. but it's the exact same principle. Just because it appears to be Mercedes, are you an engineer at the corporation so you know that's a real Mercedes? Are you a mechanic that work on these vehicles so you know that's a real Mercedes? You don't know, but you assume you do because you see the name. Whenever you're looking at things, you have an iPhone. How do you know it's a real iPhone? Have you went to a shop, a legitimate shop, and asked them if it's a real iPhone or is it a knockoff? There are knockoffs floating around, especially when they're being sold on the cheap. They might not be real. This is all metaphysics. So our day-to-day life, we're confronted with the idea of authenticity. Is it real or not? All right. All of these are moments for you to dive deep, saying, I'm seeing the outside, which is cosmology. Now I want to confirm the inside. That's day to day when you're trying to validate the authenticity of things. All right. So there are three ways you can actually apply these principles, and you already do apply them, but do it more consciously. And you're going to see you're going to be growing as a metaphysician, because metaphysics is something you grow into. You learn more and more. You learn to see deeper and deeper and deeper, but only by practice. You can't just sit there. I'm a living philosopher. I don't want to sit there and just be married to a textbook about everything I talk about. I really want to see it, understand it deeply, which means I want to open my eyes and see the world through my metaphysical vision, my metaphysical eyes. And I hope you're the same.